Yeah, students, the topic that we are going to discuss right now is free fall. You must have seen the video clip which I had sent you last night. If you have not seen it, before proceeding with this lecture, go through that video clip first so you'll understand what I am trying to convey to you. Now, many a times we have observed, maybe when we are out, we see a feather falling towards the ground from the top. We have seen a ripened fruit from a tree dropping down towards the ground. When we have released a ball or a stone from the top terrace of our building, it falls down towards the ground. During all these incidences, you can see that there is no force in contact with that object that is making it fall down. So then what makes that object fall down, or what force acts on that object resulting in its downward fall? Well, the answer to this is in the definition of free fall. Now, what is free fall, or what is a freely falling object called? See, when an object falls from some height above the Earth's surface and the only force acting on it during its fall is the gravitational pull of the Earth, then the object is said to be in a state of free fall, or it is called a freely falling object. So what is free fall? When an object falls towards the surface of the Earth under the influence of the Earth's gravitational force alone, such a fall is called as a free fall. Now, most of you have observed all these types of phenomena in and around you. Now, please realize we learned during the last lecture that when the object is falling from some height in the downward direction towards the Earth's surface, it undergoes acceleration. To be more specific, it undergoes positive acceleration. Why? Because during its downward fall, due to the Earth's gravitational force in the downward direction, its velocity keeps on increasing. Initially, when you are holding it in your hand, an object, its initial velocity is 0. The moment you release it, its velocity keeps on increasing with time, that is, it undergoes positive acceleration during its free fall, right? So free fall concept, I believe, has been well understood. You go through the video on free fall, you will understand it still better. But please understand, this free fall is possible only in vacuum. It is not only when the object is falling towards the Earth, friends, it's not only the gravitational force acting on it, but please remember, when it is falling in air, as the object, whether it's a stone, whether it's a fruit, whether it's a feather, when it is falling in air, at that time, besides the gravitational force acting on that object, the frictional force of the air too acts on that object, resisting its downward motion. In addition to that, there is an upward force. You have learnt about buoyancy last year. So there is an upward force trying to push the object in the upward direction. This upward force is more visible when a very light object like a feather is falling towards the Earth. Sometimes during its fall, you observe, you have seen the video, or probably you will see some other videos, you will observe that when the light object like a feather is coming down, it doesn't come continuously down. At some point of time, it bounces back on top also. That is because of the buoyant force of the Earth. So this free fall phenomena is basically possible only in vacuum. Recently, scientists have carried out such an experiment in vacuum itself. I can send you a video clip on that after this lecture. I'll show you how scientists perform the free fall experiment in a vacuum chamber, where what they did was they released a sphere of a good mass, having some mass, a solid sphere, and a feather. From some height they released it in vacuum, and it was seen that both the feather and the ball, one would expect that the heavy ball would fall down or the heavy sphere would fall down and hit the ground first. But when the experiment was conducted in vacuum, it was found that the feather and the ball both touched down at the same time. In fact, Galileo had performed this experiment from the Eiffel Tower or Leaning Tower of Pisa, I don't remember, but he performed this experiment by releasing two spheres of different masses, and he found that they came down at the same time. So friends, I believe you have understood what is free fall. In the next video clip, I'll explain with the help of a diagram and also equations of motion with related to freely falling objects.